Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Rise and shine.
Okay, step. Oh, there you go.
Because it's time for coffee.
Absolutely. Lots of it.
We're coming to you from El Capitan State Beach in Santa Barbara County, so we're about 10 minutes north of Santa Barbara, California. This is a campground with, I think it's got 4 loops. We're in Loop D. This is boondocking, so we've got no hookups here. What you do have is an incredible access to the Pacific Ocean. We're at an overlook of the coast, and that is something that's pretty beautiful to wake up to and be nearby. The campsites here we find them to be fairly level. Ours is, a pretty good level as far as that goes. We used a few levelers on the rig to get it set up. But generally that's okay. The proximity to neighbors, you're not in a situation, at least in our loop, where your rig is within a couple of feet of somebody else's, so the spacing I'm finding quite nice. There are public bathrooms here, so we've been using those given the boondocking situation, and we don't have a dump opportunity on our way home. But somebody told me that if you stay at this campground, which does not have a dump station, again, no hookups, no sewer, that if you present your pass to one of the next state campgrounds down the road, which is Carpinteria State Beach, there's a dump station there. You can pull in and dump. You're just off the 101 freeway, so you will be getting some, I'll just call it white noise, the sound of the cars rushing down the freeway. It's not, I don't find it overly distracting. It's almost a soothing kind of white noise, but that noise is there. That is one of the complaints I've heard people post about on some of the camping review sites, so just know that that's there. Again, it's not like being next to a really busy city interstate. It's a little bit more remote location, but you do have a fair amount of traffic that travels that highway.
I started noticing, though, that there was this white powder. They were poured out like geometrically around, and you could tell it's like around things. And I realized it was around the RVs that had been set up and pulled away and left this white powder. So we had asked our friends, why are people putting all this powder all over the place? And they had told us that anytime that you're in a beach type setting, there is usually an ant problem. So we're like, oh no. Now our friends, our lovely friends, we adore them, are always ready. They got whatever you need. So we found out that it was borax, and it has to be real borax, not anything mixed with it. It has to be straight borax, because that's a natural product and it won't hurt the environment. But it's borax that they put around the jacks, the tires,
anything that touches the ground.
Yeah. And that's supposed to prevent the ants from crossing that barrier into your trailer. So borax is a natural product, and it will go into the soil without any problems with contamination to the soil. So this is a straight borax is what you want to use.
Kind of eco-friendly?
Eco-friendly.
You gonna go through the whole container?
It's halfway gone already.
We had a new thing to add to our camping checklist. We'll have to make sure for future trips we've got our borax with us, especially for beach trips. Yeah. So let's talk about the campground itself. So El Capitan State Beach Campground has more than 130 single-family campsites. The individual campsites, which is like the one that we had, you get a picnic table, you get a fire ring, there's no hookup, so no electric, no water hookup, and no sewer hookup. RVs can be accommodated up to 42 feet. We were at 30 feet, so that worked well for us. There's also coin-operated showers.
Right. Yeah, and remember, there's still tent camping there too. So those restrooms and the showers are really designed for the tent campers.
Yeah.
If you do decide to use the shower, though, make sure you bring some water shoes.
That's always a good idea.
I looked at the showers. They were acceptable.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go in there barefoot.
Yeah, I don't go into any public shower.
I know, that's us, I know.
Yeah, I'm a germaphobe. This is a super popular campground. You can make a reservation up to 6 months in advance, not prior. And I was even looking recently at 6 months out from where we are, and it was like full every single campsite. So if you have a sense that you want to camp there in June, for example, which would be a nice time, summertime, you're going to have to make that reservation in December, and you got to mark your calendar and, 6 months to the day.
Get on there early, get online early.
Yeah, first thing that morning. While we're talking about this being a beach campground, I think there was 4 different loops within the campground. We were in Loop D. And in Loop D, as an example, almost every campsite did not have a direct view of the ocean, but we were within steps of the overlook. So I think, once we got out from our trailer, you'd walk, 15 seconds, and you'd be
right
overlooking the beach.
Yeah.
But there are a few campsites there, primo spots, where if you're sitting in your trailer, you're going to be overlooking the Pacific Ocean and just beautiful. So, for the price, it's just, when you think about the kind of views that you get, the magnificence of the Pacific Ocean, it's phenomenal.
It was awesome. We were very lucky to get a fantastic site where you just walked a few 50, 100 yards and you're right at the edge of these overlooks that are right there on the beach, basically. We did go down to the beach. Our beautiful granddaughters joined us on that Saturday. So we had a great time. We went down to the beach and they played on the beach and had it was a nice beach. The only thing you have to be careful of is in that area, there are oil rigs off the coast and the beach can tend to get tar on it.
Yeah, and there was tar. Speckles as we were walking around. So as we talk about the beach, I think about the many, many, many years that I've lived in Southern California, and I've been to beaches all up and down the coast. I don't remember any beach that had as many mussels on rocks as I saw at El Capitan. They were just everywhere.
Yeah, I think it's because the tide comes in so far close to the camping area, really. Yeah. And they've got all those rocks there, and they attach themselves to rocks.
Yeah, and we ended up taking quite a long stroll along the beach because the friends that we were with, our friend Joe brought his fishing pole and wanted to try out some fishing off the shoreline. So I accompanied him, and we were looking for just the right spot. And again, part of the challenge was so much of the coastline here had immense amounts of seaweed between the shoreline and then where probably some of the better spots for fishing would be. So we kept walking and walking to find a decent spot to throw the fishing line out. He did throw out the line. He caught quite a bit of seaweed. Didn't happen to catch any fish that afternoon.
They're there. So there are, according to people that are in the know, there are rockfish, calicos, and halibut that you can fish for off the coast there. Also, you can look for whales between November and April because they migrate to and from Mexico. And there's also dolphins, of course, that come through the area. So it's just, there's so many things you can see and so much beauty there. It's just really nice.
So, State Beach Campground, so obviously you have proximity to the beach, to the Pacific Ocean. This is also a popular spot for camping in general. It's a nice spot for picnics if you even wanted to go up there for the day. That's the kind of camping we have on the coast of Southern California. It's one campground, one example, but if you enjoy camping, if you enjoy the ocean, if you have yourself a tent, or even if you don't own an RV, there's rental opportunities. In fact, some of these places, there's preset
trailers already set up by some companies, and you can just basically book them almost like you book a hotel.
Right.
So there's options for many people's circumstances, and just I think a neat option that we have for vacationing in California.